If you call a spade, you'll get labeled all types of names. Imagine Scott Agnes criticizing South Carolina and Asia Wilson fans for going after Caitlin Clark during her rookie season. Imagine the backlash.
Imagine writing an entire essay as if you were trying out for Darth Vader's public relations squad because you are so agitated by fans who are cheering you on. According to a reporter with the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark's followers are the dark side. Yes, like real-life foam-fingered villains from Star Wars. We explore the viral meltdown that has everyone wondering whether the WNBA has suddenly become a Marvel film in today's Journalists Gone Wild edition. Though take a seat back and unwind. This drama is more captivating than Caitlin's three-point shooting percent.
Today, in an article, he put something in there, and I don't know if he thought it was going to be a side note to his article, but you cannot call Caitlin Clark fans the dark side of the fandom. No, that wasn't the greatest or smartest idea in the world.
Imagine this. A popular article about Caitlin Clark, who brought women's college basketball from the shadows to prime-time television, was written by a sports journalist who has the emotional stability of a deflated basketball. Not just any article either. Oh no. We are discussing a full-fledged, keyboard-based, viral outburst directed at Caitlin's admirers rather than her, as it would be too clear. Those who dared to stand by her, you know. How heinous.
This is really disappointing from a journalist so closely linked to the Indiana Fever organization. This is really, really disappointing, and it's really concerning in my opinion, because it is painting a 23-year-old on their team who is currently injured.
This reporter, let's call him the torchbearer of trash takes, seems to have come to the conclusion that anyone who supports Caitlin Clark is, wait for it, on the dark side. That's correct, Darth Vader. It seems that clapping during three-pointers and donning a number 22 Fever jersey are now considered Sith-level offenses. John Williams performing menacing music whenever someone purchases her merchandise is all we need.
Imagine Scott Agnes writing an article about the Reese's Pieces and all their negative vitriol, shout out to L. Duncan, that's been targeted to Caitlin Clark. Imagine the backlash he would receive. But what's the safe way out? What's the safest way to big up the Indiana Fever? Well, you tear down Caitlin Clark's fan.
In the meantime, the Indiana Fever management is still out there doing very nothing. They've been fumbling around as if they're trapped in a Scooby-Doo episode, attempting to figure out why Caitlin Clark supporters are upset when it's so clear. In a league where the refereeing makes the WWE seem like Harvard Debate Club, you have the most exciting rookie in WNBA history.
So, man, this is very sad, very disappointing. It's disgusting that Caitlin Clark has to be subjected to this nonsense. And enough's enough. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. She needs to come out and draw the line in the sand. And it would not shock me if at some point, man, Caitlin Clark is just done with this.
Shall we begin with the league first? Caitlin Clark, who dropped 40-point triple-doubles like she was dishing out Skittles at Iowa, was taken by the WNBA in all its beautiful wisdom and put into a system where refs appear to have taken the training course on how to be petty in 3 easy calls. Every game has the air of a Shakespearean tragedy, helmed by a person who only follows disputes on Twitter.
But yesterday they also announced the skills competition for the WNBA All-Star team. And she didn't make that either. So you argued she wasn't good for the Olympics. Your argument, though I don't buy it, but it was your argument, women's basketball, that she would be a distraction. So isn't the perfect place to put her in the skills competition?
Caitlin was treated like a superstar by the NCAA. She is treated by the WNBA as though she were a freshman at Mean Girls High. If the NCAA were a helpful mentor, encouraging her from the sidelines. Regina George of the WNBA asks her why she is so fixated on her talent. If no one else is available, we switched from covering the game of the week to the game of the weekend. Because it's a horrible business idea to openly display your most marketable athlete. However, let's turn to this reporter. A man who is so intolerant of accountability that he most likely has to have an EpiPen on hand if the word objectivity is brought up. You see, he no longer only reports. No. He's teaching us. He asserts that if you back you are obviously toxic, Caitlin Clark. Not because you're noisy, impolite, or bothering others, but just because you're here. You have to wonder whether he earned his degree from a cereal box while reading this type of journalism. This is the same individual who, during a power outage, turned around more forcefully than a yoga instructor after being reprimanded for disregarding Clark's blatant foul play. Of course, though, when writing from a place of resentment, accuracy is optional.
Winners of 7 of 9. The Fever are playing Connect.
He claims that this man has experienced a great deal of hatred. Really? Since our last check, Caitlin Clark has been elbowed in the face, verbally abused on and off the court, fouled with the grace of a falling anvil, and has yet to reply to press conferences with anything more than a courteous "thank you." Every time someone in the comment area challenges this reporter to take reality into account, he launches into a digital panic attack. The fact that this man has never, and we mean never, called out any of the obvious cheap jabs directed at Clark is absurd. Not one. Not when someone shoved her, OT, when she felt as though someone was attempting to take her soul. Not when during layups, she had her physique examined. Zilch, nada. Suddenly, though, he finds the stamina to compose a 1,200-word article explaining how her followers are the issue, all we discussed that base of supporters. Orbits level whirling because of the way this man speaks about Clark's fans. It's surprising that anti-ANS hasn't lodged a trademark complaint given the linguistic pretzels he's twisting himself into. This man reroutes the topic like a father avoiding affection whenever someone attempts to discuss real basketball. Let's not discuss how she was flattened without causing any harm. Let's discuss how noticing makes you a poor fan.
Nasty, nasty. If y'all don't know who Scott Agnes is, he's a guy he's very close to the team. He gets a lot of access. He's in the practices. He's interviewing the players at practice. He's interviewing the players pre-game, post-game. He is very close with the team and has a lot of access to the players and the team.
The fact that this has turned into a mini industry of jealousy is even more pitiful. For many years, the WNBA has been pleading for widespread recognition. At last, they have someone who drives traffic, sponsorships, ticket sales, and jersey purchases that cause websites to crash. And in some ways, her excessive prosperity is the worst crime she has ever made. This whole situation is beginning to resemble that one coworker who never performs their duties and then loses their cool when someone else gets promoted. However, in this instance, there is a very irate man with a WordPress login, elbows, and ejections in place of office drama. Additionally, let's examine the statement. She's not the sole novice. Whoa, I appreciate that discovery. Indeed, the league does contain other rookies. We know that a few of them are outstanding. Purchasing a Caitlin Clark jersey puts you at risk of being called a cult leader after only one tearful post. Not to be overlooked is the ultimate irony. It is only because of Caitlin Clark that these journalists and commentators who dedicate their days to disparaging her followers are still relevant today. Half of them would be tweeting about pickleball competitions and Waffle House reviews if she weren't in the league.
The ignorance is loud here, folks. They're only there for Clark. Boy, you stepped in it. But that dark side can easily seep into the team. The Caitlin Clark fans, the dark side. Because they're very passionate about a player, and yes, they put their money where their mouth is. So these people, these fans, feel invested.
This man's refusal to support her essentially gave him a platform. He is the president of the fan club that opposes supporters. He is gaslighting anyone who brings out the obvious, while shrieking into thin air about how overrated she is. That she is revolutionary rather than merely good. Let's face it, Caitlin Clark would be the talk of the MVP if she played in a league where professionalism was expected and favoritism wasn't the main marketing tactic. Instead, as the referees sip herbal tea and gaze at the scoreboard, she's out here braving defensive ambushes like she's auditioning for Gladiator. The worst issue is that if she demonstrates dignity, humility, and self-control, things that are meant to be beneficial qualities are also perverted in some way. Why doesn't she defend herself? Why does she never talk? Because perhaps, just possibly, She is aware that the microscope is already aimed straight at her face, which is glowing red. She doesn't have to give in to the trolls, particularly those who obviously haven't watched an entire game objectively since flip phones were popular. For your information, a woman contributes millions of dollars to a league that, 5 years ago, was unable to sell out a concession stand. Finally, women's basketball attracted national attention from fans. Additionally, some media outlets responded by clapping excessively loudly. Don't like her? Please, this would be amusing if it weren't so completely pitiful.
Indiana Fever reporter Scott Agnes has decided that now would be the time, now that the Fever have won a few games, now would be the time to attack Caitlin Clark fans. While, of course, and I'm not even going to go through because some of them are really nasty.
Not only did Caitlin Clark make the WNBA relevant, but she also made it inevitable. She is covered by ESPN as if she were a presidential candidate. When she makes threes, the opposing arenas applaud. When the Fever strikes a city, tourism increases. Let's discuss how the fans are the issue, though. Not the no calls, not the elbow throwing, and not the league's unwillingness to defend their most important resource. The officiating was so blatantly skewed that it would make a soccer referee blush. No, it's those damn fans who pack stadiums and purchase t-shirts. How do you know? Pass the lightsaber if that's the evil side, as this kind of the force is making money, expanding the sport, and giving young girls a cause to have bigger dreams. You, our beloved writer, can keep scribbling away in the comfort of his own insignificance in the meantime, seeing the eventual ascent of the sport he professes to love, just not in the manner he had hoped. Like Moses separating the Red Sea, Caitlin divides defenders in 1 minute. At the last minute, she has arranged a trip that even her grandmother would consider lavish. In the meantime, opponents subtly toss their elbows like a drunk rhinoceros and crickets. Not a soul. The referees are being treated as though they are auditioning for the funniest home blows in America.
By off social media, do you mean that they don't read the notifications? Because they're all on social media, except for maybe Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. You want me to believe, Brianna Turner's always on social media. You want me to believe that these players who are so addicted to the drama, who are so addicted to the outside noise, have gone off social media? Stop gaslighting us. We don't believe you. You need more people. We don't believe you. You need more people.
Not to be overlooked are Caitlin-specific imaginative foul calls. Go to the edge. It's a blatant tempt to three. It's a technicality and defense blink. It's a review. Their ability to be continuously unreliable is nearly astounding. At this stage, your child would make a more thoughtful decision about who gets to sit in the booster seat. Oh, and the league rules are a luxury. Racism and partiality. You describe it as more analogous to a choose-your-own-adventure novel in which Caitlin is portrayed as the villain along every route. Have you been fouled? Under a microscope, replay her response until it resembles a crime scene. After a clutch shot, she smiles. Play menacing soundtrack, slow motion, and zoom in.
Now, you would think that sentence is actually setting up in defense of the Indiana Fever, right? Because when you're at the top of the mountain, when you're the GOAT at the top of the mountain, you are going to get all the arrows. You're going to get all the arrows. This is true in any sport. This is true in life in general. When you are successful, you become a target. It doesn't matter that you might have started at the...
Darth Vader at least had a catchy tune. The kicker is this, though. Caitlin Clark handles every setback as if it were Christmas morning in spite of everything. She jogs back in defense, shakes her head, and continues to enter numbers that make calculators cry. And since promoting excellence is a necessity, our fans are right there, cheering. It is required. This leads us back to our reporter, who is a keyboard warrior. While Caitlin is out there winning the WNBA MVP award for everything but the final box score, he is most likely at home polishing his I Told You So trophy. He sees fans as the issue. He is the funny relief for us. For example, the Thanksgiving uncle who insists gravy is a plot. Keep an eye out for the grand finale, where we bring this entire farce to a close and remind everyone that you don't get to choose the hero in basketball or in life. You're chosen by her.